welcome to the Lunar Review. I'm your host Vanessa, and today I'm talking about the astrology for the end of May 2025. Right now we have the Sun is in the sign of Gemini, and it's been there since the 20th, and it will stay there until June 22nd, and then the Sun will enter into Cancer. We've also got a lot going on with the planet Mercury. He's got tons to say. And a really big, huge thing is that Saturn will be entering the sign of Aries. So I'm going to start with the Sun in Gemini because we're in it. And the Sun. The Sun is the foundation of who we are. It's the seat of our personal consciousness. It is the way that we shine and dazzle. It's our uniqueness, our contributions that only we can bring to this world. So it really gives a certain clarity and clear vision and purpose and courage to our lives. So when it's in the sign of the twins, which is Gemini, then we might find that we have an insatiable curiosity. We want to know what's in the basement, who our neighbors are, what the name of that flower is, what's going on over the hill. You know, we just want to know what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on in the world. Gemini loves to get an eyeful, likes to even gossip, and is very chatty, very social, very much engaged with the immediate environment and just wanting to figure things out and name things. And so you might find that you are very much in need of stimulation for this month, that you want to really stave off any boredom. Although I guess with Gemini, it's hard to get bored because you are always seeking the new and you're just craving these experiences where you get to take an objective approach to things. Because Gemini is like the reporter, just wants to look at life, just the facts, what's going on, and be very objective. This is because they are an air sign, so they're intellectually minded. They want to view things through the mind. They want to make decisions based on rationality and objectivity. They are also a yang sign, so they're very self-propelling and very motivated. So this can be just a really fun, wild, it can be a flirtatious sign. So this is actually a good time for this month to really engage with people, really get out and explore. Your mind might feel sharper, although it might feel more scattered, because Gemini tends to like to hold ideas, many ideas at one time, not just develop one, but the attention of a Gemini can be scattered. And I've heard it said that the attention of Gemini is equally scattered in all directions. So if you do find that you're sort of jumping around from subject to subject, or even with your relationships just kind of flitting around from one to another, don't worry, this is the energy of Gemini. And Gemini is supposed to be like the butterfly and go around and take quick peeks and looks into things and to explore many, to explore the multitudes. It's not necessarily going to go deep into things, but you just probably want to stay extra motivated, extra stimulated. Try a new language, try talking to people who don't speak your language, just anything that you can do to sharpen up your communication skills and just have fun and enjoy talking with people and, yeah, try learning a new subject. On May 25th, we have a conjunction between the planet Mercury and Uranus, and this happens in the sign of Taurus. Mercury is the planet of communications. Uranus is the planet of revolution and rebellion. So when these two are conjunct, and the conjunction is a very powerful aspect because they mix and they merge, they come together and they form something very strong. So with Uranus there's definitely a very unpredictable, wild, erratic, kind of crazy energy, this type of feeling that anything can happen. And I would say with Mercury and Uranus, there's definitely potential for some just shocking, out of the blue sparks of genius. The more practical aspect of Mercury could be asking the very high-minded Uranus, how can we implement your, amazing ideas? So Uranus can be engaging the higher mind, being very abstract, plugging into some sort of genius, whereas Mercury can actually help organize and say, okay, if we do this, that, and the other thing, then we can really get into the details, and we can make a business plan, or we can make your theory viable. We can write it out. We can put it in a textbook. So Mercury will take care of the details, and Uranus can just run wild, run free, and not worry about the minutia and the planning, but just delve into that wild, abstract, upper echelon of the mind. So Mercury will do the groundwork, and Uranus will take that bird's eye view or that rocket ship view, but it will definitely take that high-minded view. So the conjunction is in the sign of Taurus, and Taurus is very grounded and practical. She, really loves security and is not very not very much into risk taking. So she might take the edge off a little bit of this Uranian combination, or however, it could go the other way. The things that Taurus represents could now be experiencing some sort of instability, and the things Taurus represents are, our financial stability, just our enjoyment of the simple pleasures of life. Even fertility is represented by Taurus. So these things could get a jolt. They could get shaken up. They could be leaving us in a position of, my God, what just happened? What do I have to deal with? There might be some problem that we have to address in these areas. But what's kind of interesting is that on the next day, on the 26th, Mercury moves into the sign of Gemini. And Gemini, as discussed, it's all about thinking and ideas. So although the conjunction proper, the exact conjunction happened in Taurus, you can still feel these aspects, even when they're separating and even when they're applying. So I'm just wondering if now that it's moving into Gemini, there's the possibility of, yes, you had a shock or something you had to deal with, but now you're able to really, your mind is really on fire, really in sync with Uranus, and you can actually think your way out of a situation that you might be inspired to come up with new solutions, and just find the energy of Mercury and Uranus together, just kind of a wild, thrilling combination. Also on this day, the 26th, Mercury has a sextile with Saturn. So this is a nice, easy aspect. It's not as strong as some of the other aspects, but it's still something noteworthy. And this is what we say an easy aspect. It brings a harmonious energy between the two planets. And it's great because Mercury gets a little bit of gravitas from Saturn, because Saturn, he's kind of tough. He is the planet of endings, limitations, and also of karmic rewards. If you do all of your work and you do it properly and you really put your best in, then there will be a reward at the end of it. But there are absolutely no shortcuts. So that's why Saturn gets a bad rap, because they're just, you can't charm your way out of it. You can't sweet talk your way out of things. You actually have to produce the results. So at this time, there could be a real maturity to your words. You could be speaking and saying things, and you could be regarded as someone who really can be trusted. You might command respect for any ideas or stories or wisdom that you're sharing with people. And at this point, Mercury can really handle the information, the situation, if it comes with any amount of intensity, if there's any tough or unpleasant news that Mercury will be able to handle it with maturity and confidence. And even if you have to make a decision, a tough decision about something, just know that at this point you probably have accumulated enough wisdom to make a wise choice. Or if you're in a bizarre situation, you'll just know what to say. You'll just know what the right thing to say is. So I would say listen to your gut feelings, but don't get carried away until you check it through your rational mind. You might even feel more organized than usual, and even if organizing is not your thing and it's such a big pain to do, you might feel okay with it. You might feel okay with like putting in the hours and using your muscles a little bit more, because you'll know now that it's worth it, that ultimately your project or whatever you're doing will have much better results because of the work you're doing now. Also on this day, the 26th, we have Mercury making another sextile, this one to Neptune. So sextile being a nice, easy aspect. The one thing with the sextile is that you do have to put just a tiny bit of effort in to activate it. The good situation already exists, but you just need to push the button. So what Neptune does is Neptune offers the everyday, mundane, ordinary thoughts of Mercury. It can just take it to new heights. It can have you pondering the marvels of the universe, reaching spiritual heights and experiencing universal love. You might even feel more emotional and intuitive at this time because usually Mercury is, well, always Mercury is very logical and emotionally cool and very left brain. But with Neptune, the right brain fires up and more. With Neptune, you have this bridge, this fusion between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. So you get this really great combination of the analytical and the intuitive. So you might have poetry flowing from your lips. You might realize something really great about yourself in a creative way that, wow, I love acting, or painting is the most awesome way that I know to express myself. So now all of your senses could be heightened, and this could be a really good time to seek new knowledge through meditation, prayer, turning to nature, your dreams, speaking with guru. Your intuition is really heightened, or there's a potential for your intuition to be heightened right now. So you can bring a lot more nuance and depth into these complex mental tasks that you might have. So it's a really good time to try and figure something out, something that's really tricky. This is a really good time to go into that. Then on the 27th, we have Mercury trining Pluto. And a trine is a really easy aspect. It is a complete unhindered flow of energy between two planets. It is no holds barred. It is just a free for all. So it's extremely expansive, and usually it's a lot of goodwill between the two planets. So Pluto is known for just these complete and thorough transformations. And often the process is quite arduous, it's tough, and it's one that we usually don't want. Maybe we know deep down we need it, but we don't want it, and we usually don't feel ready for it. And Pluto is just extremely powerful of a planet. So with this trine, there's a lot of power and force coming into our communications. So this could be a good time if you need to compel or persuade. Those abilities will come more easily now. Your words can move mountains at this moment. It can have what you say and think can have a significant impact. You might want to tackle any deep or unpleasant conversations now. It's as though you have a flashlight in a mine shaft. Like, yes, you are way underground and it's dark, but you've got light and you can see. So you know where you're going, and there's a lot of courage right now. There's courage and there's fearlessness in your exploration. It's a great time to tackle any personal issues that you have that diminish your own personal power, or maybe you just want to help someone out, because with the trine, this can help moderate the really dramatic and intense effects of Pluto, that it can help that energy run just a little bit more smoothly. On May 30th, we have the Sun conjuncting Mercury. So this is a fantastic day for getting your message out to the world. If you enjoy public speaking, do it. If you are a podcaster or you do interviews, do it on this day. Anything that you can do to communicate your ideas and promote them, do it on this day or debut it. So you might feel very clear-minded and ambitious and just really have a faith in your way of speaking and in your way of delivering a message. So you'll just have a belief that you're on the right track and that it's just great. You want to share that with the public. You might feel less inhibited or self-conscious, or even if you do feel those things, somehow you're able to just move past it and just really enjoy dispensing your knowledge. You might have that big new juicy idea pop into your head, or a new way of organizing your thoughts that better represents you. You might have more fun in exchanging information and learning, because this is all happening in the sign of Gemini. And Gemini is chatty and light and very quick-witted. So we've got all this Mercury energy, all this support for Mercury at the end of May. So this is great for learning and communicating. So I think it bodes well for new solutions to personal and even global problems and much needed changes in perception. Mercury in Gemini loves to talk, wide and deep, shallow and superficial, loves to joke and gossip and can even kind of degrade into babble. But basically, you can expect a free flow of conversation, negotiations, just open lines of communication. Is it all going to be nice and nice? Who knows? It could be super feisty. But the fact is that at least there will be open lines. And we don't know. Will all this communication lead to any action? Who knows? But at least the conversation is going on. Two parties exchanging information and looking and look, just passing on their ideas to each other. So when you have that kind of interaction, there is always reason for optimism. On May 25th, we have a really huge thing going on, and that is Saturn entering into Aries. And this is big because Saturn only spends 2 to 3 years in a sign, and he will be in Aries until April 2028. So this is really big deal. Saturn is very serious. He is a stoic planet. He's the one who sets up all the rules and regulations. Although he is moved into a fiery sign, which is Aries. So Aries is the warrior. So at this point, Saturn is a little bit more amped up and maybe a little more spontaneous than usual. But there could also be more tension in the air because Aries it's a cardinal sign, it's a fire sign. So that means Aries likes to initiate things and go first. Aries moves super fast. He moves by instinct. So he will do first and plan later. Whereas Saturn is just the antithesis. It's just the opposite of this. Saturn is slow. He's methodical. He's cold. So the energy could be very uneven during this period. It could be a frustrated sort of like stop and go type of energy. This is kind of just a general theme that we can expect with Saturn and Aries. Aries is the child archetype. And Saturn is the archetype of the father or even the grandfather. So the child will value spontaneity, immediate gratification, while Saturn values hard work over a long period of time and a delay of gratification. So, talk about being in conflict. Aries is also the starting point. It is the 0 point. It is the start of it all. Brand spanking new baby. It's springtime. And literally, Aries loves to spring into action. So what's great is that this also represents a fresh start. Aries is autonomous, doesn't like authority figures, which is another reason why there's friction when he's in Saturn, because Saturn represents authority and hierarchy. So there are some things that we can look out for over the next 2 or 3 years, well, until 2028. And this is on a global level. We can see what plays out, that Saturn being in Aries is very independent and likes to be their own sovereign and self-rulership and rely on themselves. I wonder if we can look at nations becoming more independent and that countries start looking out for the interests of their own people more, and that some countries stop relying on other countries for their security, for supplementing their militaries, that they protect their own borders. Because Aries is also the warrior, and he's ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is the planet of violence and aggression. So the theme of war, let's see, it'll probably be prominent in the next 2 or 3 years. It has been, and it doesn't take a genius to see that things are going to keep progressing. Right now we can hear these battle cries coming in all directions, and there is the possibility, though, with Saturn being able to bring maturity to Aries to control the impulses and to channel energy and just to be much more effective in the world and not take things so personally. So autonomy and self-reliance, these are really big themes that could happen in our personal lives, that these are areas where we could be tested. You might even question the reason for your existence. And it might be a tough learning curve just to realize that, you know, we are valuable, we are worthy, and it's just by virtue of being alive. Ultimately, Saturn in Aries wants to bring you from a place of inexperience or innocence to a more evolved, fair, and equitable place. It's a place where you are trustworthy, you're mature, and you're basically an asset to humanity. And since this is happening in the sign of Aries, impatience and a wild demeanor must be tempered with quiet focus. The gold, the real gold at the end of this transit on a personal level is just an awareness of your own inherent value. Well, as always, enjoy all these transits and all these big things that are happening. And if anybody would like to book a reading with me, please go to my website, thelunarreview.com. And I will be back again. Take care. Bye-bye.